Cybertrucks are falling apart. Oh my gosh, this must be the worst thing to ever happen. And it's definitely not blown out of proportion. And it's definitely not a bunch of lies. And it's definitely not a bunch of regurgitated headlines that make very little sense at all, if any. We'll discuss that here today with my good friend Herbert from Brighter. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. Herbert, bad news. Bad news. The Tesla scam continues. The fraud that is all things Tesla. It's so tragic. I don't know if you heard, but posts about broken Cybertrucks fill Tesla owner forums, from brake light malfunctions to full-on failures. If you want to know just how bad things are with the Cybertruck, check the owners forums. Because as you know, those are all thoroughly vetted posts, right? From gunky surfaces, okay, wash it, to embarrassing off-road exploits, okay, all things get stuck, to malfunctioning after going through the water, okay. The stainless steel seems like an all-around mess. We cover a lot of those concerns, but if you want an even clearer picture, don't listen to us, listen to all these very real, very credible people. What do you make of it?
Yeah, obviously, right from the very beginning, you could tell that it's already biased. And then, so number one, right? It's we had the same storyline a while ago, right? With every Cybertruck is rusting, rust everywhere. The funny thing is, even my friend called me and said, "I heard that the Cybertruck is rusting everywhere." And it's like, okay, all right, let's figure this out. Is it real or not real? And this is just yet another one of those things, right? And so it's crazy. It's fun, but picking out you can do this to any product. Any product. You can do this with the iPhone. One of the most best-selling, greatest products in the world. You can do this and look at the forums and see problems galore.
You remember there was a time when a new iPhone shipped and the screens kept cracking, and that affected hundreds of thousands of units. They fixed them. I encountered a truck on the other side of a two-lane highway. My Cybertruck suddenly made a hard brake stop when we both have a wide enough space between us. Note, the autopilot is simply a glorified reactive cruise control.
Yeah, got nothing to do with the Cybertruck. This is autopilot. And did the autopilot suddenly stop? Maybe there's a really good reason why that is. Maybe that sometimes I'm sure there's issues like maybe if there's, I think something going under an underpass and it's got lots of darkness, it'll slow down. It'll try to be slow, so it'll be safer for you. This has nothing to do with Cybertruck. This is crazy that it's even there.
Yeah, I would point out that if you're saying that your Cybertruck has autopilot, you're making stuff up, because that's not a thing. That's not how that works. And oh no, this one's even worse, Herbert. We're doomed for sure. Cybertruck breaks down after a mile of driving. Just one solo Lonesome Mile. Now, I'm not saying that this didn't happen. The vehicle screen instructed him to pull over safely.
The terrifying incident highlights the automaker's reputation for poor quality control. There's a reputation for poor quality control. Are they picking on the 2018, panel gaps that hasn't existed since 2018, and the first few cars coming out, which is the reputation is amazing. Have you seen the latest data point that came out?
No.
90% of people who bought a Tesla will buy again. And then you compare that to anyone else, they are just 10s and 20% higher than anyone else. This is crazy.
Yeah. Oh my God, effing Elon, bro. How is it already broken? So this is a lot of this nonsense. A lot of the nonsense we're looking at here would not pass editorial review if there was editorial review, which these days, increasingly, there just is not. But as you pointed out, this is definitely unique to Tesla and not unique to all cars. Growing list of issues with our 2023 Outer Banks 2.7 liter four-door. Leaks, rips, and rattles. This is the new Bronco. Leaks, rips, and rattles. And apparently wind noise was a common complaint, and leaks are a common complaint. And this just keeps going. And, in our Northwest group, we've got a gentleman named Lightning Ryan Fulcher, whose F-150 Lightning had to go back. It was purchased back under the Lemon Law because the darn thing just couldn't stay going. The battery kept failing on him. I don't blame Ford for having issues with a first run product. It's a thing that kind of happens. Should we definitely boycott all things Ford because of that? I don't think that's the conclusion. 3 of the worst Toyota Tacoma model years, according to CarComplaints. The 2015, 16, and 17 are all trucks you should be worried about. Wait, Toyota has problems too? Yes, sometimes problems happen. The clear paint had a problem. You'd think paint would be a solved issue by now. Reporting issues, top 3 issues around paint, engine problems, and transmission. Those are not small problems. Those are huge, catastrophic problems, I would argue. Someone on X recently was posting a bunch of repair costs for vehicles that he had seen. And it turns out that if your BMW loses a motor out of warranty, the repair cost can be $20,000 to $30,000. And the same with the transmission. And remember, internal combustion engines are only warranted to like 60,000 miles, where the battery on your EV, by law, is I think 100,000 miles. So there's some disconnect there. But talking about gas versus electric, we got to compare apples to apples. Oh, look, Taycan Problems are overwhelming an otherwise great car. Why isn't this front page news, Herbert? Help me understand.
Doesn't have the word Tesla in it. And if it was, if they put the Tesla competitor, they'll blame Tesla for it.
Tesla competitor. Did this. Well, you remember
did this.
when the Taycan first came out, there was immediately a fire in Florida where a car outside being charged burst into flames in the driveway and was a total loss. And I thought they're going to have a tough time with this news cycle, and they did not. It's a brand new car, man. What do you expect? Me? What do I expect? What do you expect? What are we talking about here?
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, going to the forum and picking out four posts, of which a couple of them have nothing to do with the Cybertruck. They're like, okay, you're blaming it for an autopilot because it braked fast. I mean, there's so many reasons why that could have happened. It could just be you.
He also said it stopped completely, which is nonsense.
What?
And a lot of what we're seeing, I saw someone on Reddit yesterday saying, well, no, you don't understand. The real problem is the internet is filled with nothing but failures of Cybertruck. And I said, which internet? Because the one I'm using, which is called, they call it the World Wide Web, if that helps, is not full. It's got maybe 4 or 5 stories that have been repackaged and reposted 100 different ways. And many of them are not vetted. I take complaints from real people who I actually know very seriously. On X, I've seen multiple complaints of version 12 rubbing your rims on the curb rash from version 12.
That's real.
That's real. These are from people who I've met in real life, who I know. Sean from Now Teslify, Ash Martin, Stargirl, and some others. This troll responded saying, well, who are you? I can't verify you're real. No, you can't. But I can't tell you how many people have met me at events. I am out there all year going to all these events. I am a real person. And if I only said good things about Tesla, that would make it a little more suspect. But I don't. I am not hesitant to criticize when it makes sense. Do you know the 2021 Ford Mustang Mach-E has had 7 recalls and has reliability issues? I don't know anyone who's had reliability issues, so I could say, no, it doesn't. But I'm happy to just look at the facts. And even if I don't know someone, new platforms can have issues. Old platforms can have issues. Sometimes just a change in supplier for the paint or the painting equipment or any of those things. Screen freezes up, brake problems, charging problems. Reliability overall.
It's one thing to get the data from credible source. It's another thing to go and let's look at the forum. What a great way. That's one of the best ways to find out how the the quality is of these cars. Let's go look at the forums because, yeah, did you validate that these people actually own a car? Did you validate that they're actually real people that don't have an agenda? There are real groups, large groups that are being paid by competitors to, do things because their business is dying to attack Tesla. One of the easiest ways, go on the forum, pretend I'm somebody who's a Tesla owner or Cybertruck owner and say crap stuff. I mean,
Hmm.
it happens all the time. Did you
Yes.
validate? Did they own? No. Just look at the forum.
No.
And I found four. Because it's a great article. It's going to just great headline, going to get me lots of clicks, going to give me lots of advertisement revenue. I'll just do it. That's what
It's.
it's very clear.
I always ask for the proof of the good, of the bad. When we saw, when 12.3 first came out, I saw this very inflammatory post on X. My Model Y crashed yesterday on
Mhm.
12.3. Video coming tomorrow. And I said,
Mhm.
I'll wait for the video. And then when we saw it, it was going about 2 miles an hour in a
Yeah,
parking
yeah.
lot. And I thought,
That's right. I saw that. Yeah.
you sneaky
Great.
bastard. Yes, very sneaky, very clever. And by the way, you didn't think to maybe tap the brake? Just thinking out loud here. Very ridiculous. And like the early reports of the rust, when that came out, you and I looked at it and said, this sounds implausible.
Wipe it away.
And then we saw it and we're like, oh, it's not. Okay. And a lot of the people just want to hate on it. And I've seen people say, well, I've seen people on social media saying, well, now that the Cybertruck is already a confirmed flop, what? What are you talking about? So I still would be hesitant to buy a brand new anything of a new design, new platform, new anything. The Cybertruck would, if I could have afforded it, would have been an exception because it's so exciting. I would have accepted those risks. And people saying, well, it's a failure because it doesn't have autopilot or FSD turned on yet.
Oh God,
Right.
yeah.
You knew that when you bought it. You knew that when you bought it. That was very clear. Well, it doesn't have the range that I wait, no, they told you the range before you signed the check. So get real. I can see why a lot of entrenched interests would be very afraid of the Cybertruck, and not just because it looks so badass, which it definitely does. Hey guys, could you do me a favor? Could you head on over to the to Brighter with Herbert, see what he's up to these days? He gets some of the most insanely amazing guests from all across robotics,
Thank you.
automotive, finance. It's a real all-star lineup. And everybody else, like, subscribe, do all that stuff you got to do. Maybe even throw some support my way. There's a bunch of ways to do it. It really helps out. These are some lean months when the stock is down, but at least you're here and you are subscribed, aren't you? So I appreciate that. Like, subscribe, comment, do what you got to do, and definitely let us know, what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? Is this out of proportion? Are the angry fudsters correct? Who knows, man? Everybody else, stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots on the surface of Mars.